Welcome to the locker room. I am your host, Jerry Alpeliohai, and of course, it promises to be exciting this lovely afternoon. And with me in the studio is our expert analyst, Ikechukwu makes a return. And of course, joining us virtually today is the insightful Mayowa. Together, we're breaking down the latest on Osimhen and Galatasaray, and it promises to be exciting because it looks like the Osimhen saga continues on where he's going to play his club football next season. And before we dive in, remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel, hit that like button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. And of course, you can also drop your comments below. And if you want to join the conversation live, you can call us via our WhatsApp line showing on your screen. I want to introduce the guys before any other thing. They say respect is reciprocal, and of course, they say you have to start from home before you think about outside. Ikechukwu, it's great to have you join us once again.
Good evening, Jerry, and good evening to our viewers. So good to be here in the locker room today, and I want to believe that we've got a lot of things to talk about here in the locker room. And you know, yesterday was interesting as you tried to do what you have to do all of the time. Talk about Manchester United. Find a way to actually link all stories to United. I just hope it's not going to.
This is about.
I just hope.
I know you're excited.
I'm not excited,
excited
about the way you go about these things.
Who has joined? It's official. And the guy lied and told the whole world that his dream club, his best club.
What's your
when
proof?
He was growing
What's your
up
proof?
Was Manchester United.
How did you know
and
he lied? How did you know he lied?
In that stylist, he said in England. That's to show that he had the best club. So all of a sudden, his best club in England when he was growing up was Manchester United. We all know this. Players do this. They say it a lot. So they'll play for this club side. They'll be kissing the badge, showing loyalty.
So if you
tomorrow morning, they will join the next club and start kissing the badge and showing loyalty. It's all about the money, and of course, depends on who pays you. That's where your loyalty lies, as far as footballers are concerned. Congratulations!
I'm not even done talking. You've picked the story again and start watching a United player. But of course, it's you, Jerry.
Yeah, congratulations! And of course, Mayowa, it's great to have you join us once again. And of course, it's a lot to talk about. We understand that Mayowa, is still talking to Cunha and giving him the updates and the tips of what to expect next season. Because if with what we saw in that last qualifier game is what he's going to be bringing to Old Trafford, I think we're going to be seeing an upgrade of Højlund and Orobosa. And I saw a picture of Orobosa. He was dancing with a hot chick, looking like he has achieved a lot. I hope. I wish you guys all the best. And Rashford was seen in the video. I think he posted a video online where he was training and looking all agile. He did that some seasons ago. At the end of the day, there was nothing to show for it. And Man United fans started lashing at him. And of course, the man didn't hold his own. He was giving it back to the Man United fans. Mayowa, it's great to have you join us once again. And of course, I hope you've advised Cunha not to make such kind of silly mistakes, because with what we saw in that Brazil game, I don't know whether Ancelotti will be inviting him again in the Brazilian game, but he will have to prove himself at United too.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. The thing is this, I've said it consistently. I don't think Cunha is the kind of player Manchester United needs. However, because he was able to do it, because he was able to score some goals in the Wolves, we feel, a whole lot of people feel, is the right person for Manchester United. If you look at how he moves, I don't think he's the appropriate person for Manchester United. But in any case, he struggled in the game against, he struggled playing for Brazil, and we should not use that to judge him. He has been able to do well for Wolves so far. Let's see. In as much as I don't agree that is the kind of player we need, since Amorim wants to die on the Cunha sword. Let's see what he can do. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him an opportunity. But I don't think he's the one for Manchester United, if you ask my honest opinion about it.
I hope he will not become the Darwin Núñez of Manchester United.
He didn't come with a big hype. No, he didn't come with a big hype. Darwin Núñez came
Okay.
Darwin Nunes came on the back foot of the
Let's not go into that story. Darwin Nunes is a failure.
Haaland.
The thing is that
Haaland
you cannot even drive it again.
No.
Darwin Nunes is an almighty failure.
No, it's a.
So
you guys use him for money laundering.
No, money laundering.
because
Anyway, let's talk about the man of the moment, where Galatasaray's vice president Metin Hatipoglu has revealed that the club is working to keep Victor Osimhen at the Turkish side, and Osimhen's new agent George Gadi is collaborating with the club's transfer team led by Abdullah Kavuku to finalize the deal. And according to Hatipoglu, the chances of Osimhen staying with Galatasaray are increasing daily. And Hatipoglu said that he has also reflected on the club's decision to sign Osimhen, stating that they didn't necessarily need a striker at the time, but were impressed enough to complete the deal within 2 days. And this suggests that Galatasaray values Osimhen's talent and is eager to retain him. And of course, with what they achieved last season, any same club will surely want to keep the quality of Victor Osimhen at the club. But if it's the new agent that is driving this deal, I will tell Osimhen straight up, this agent does not mean well for you. I don't know what his agent would have told him. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he has a Turkish girlfriend and he wants to still be around Turkey. But as far as Osimhen is concerned, Osimhen is too good, too big to be playing for Galatasaray.
I mean, the world said this about Diego Armando Maradona when he joined Napoli.
Yeah.
Of course, he was the biggest, brand in football at the point.
Yeah.
Of course,
Napoli was still a decent, very decent.
No, I mean, come on. Of course, the only thing we will say at that point is that Italian Serie A is a very competitive league. But Napoli is not one of those teams you look at and say this is a major club side in Italy at the point.
Definitely.
And of course, he was moving from Barcelona at that point, where he was actually bought for about £5 million. That was the world record at the point. So, I mean, the biggest player in the world moved to Napoli and then changed the story there. He
was moving from Barcelona.
That's what I'm saying.
And for a big money to Napoli. At least it makes.
Jerry,
he has seen it all.
Jerry,
he has done well for
the
himself.
point is this, right? He moved from Barcelona to Napoli, right? He went to Napoli. He changed their story. He won them an European title. They won the Scudetto as well. Very awesome. Now we are talking about a team, in Turkey. Victor Osimhen moved from Italy, Napoli. He helped Napoli win the league. He did very well with them, and then in the following season, he's moving. 2 seasons after he won the league, he moved to. Though the circumstance for his movement is quite different because there was actually trouble at this point. Now he moved to Turkey. They've won the league, right? And now this Galatasaray side seems to be in the rebuild phase because I think there are rumors of Leroy Sané joining.
It's not a rumor; it's confirmed.
Of course, okay, confirmed at this point. So yes, perhaps they might have a project that saying, "Don't worry, stay. We're going to bring top players to."
You're saying it's a good move for him to stay at Galatasaray.
I'm saying in the absence of Crocodile, he can manage Lizard. Because trust me, Osimhen at this point, I mean, no top teams in Europe can actually afford him at this point. And going to Saudi is not the best move. So I think staying put in Europe, if he does something magnificent in Europe with this Galatasaray side, with other top players.
Do you think there's anything he needs to prove at Galatasaray anymore?
No, not about Galatasaray now. Using Galatasaray to prove a point in Europe is going to be.
What other points is he going to prove?
If they win the Champions League, that's a big step. Yes, we might look at it. We might say it's impossible.
Which of the Champions League, please? Let me know.
No, Jerry, wait. this is not me saying they are going to win. I'm saying with the quality of players.
What the thing is that you are asking him to make a decision based on a win, based on let's still try. Let's not forget, age is not on Osimhen's side. Osimhen has nothing again to prove as far as being a world-class striker is concerned. What is now left for him is to put himself in a position where he can win the Champions League and make more name for himself and of course earn money alongside it.
Jerry, winning the Champions League obviously will give him more name, right?
Yeah.
Now what we are saying,
and give him a chance to win at least the
what we are saying
conversation.
Is, with the likes of Leroy Sané and perhaps other top players joining this Galatasaray side, we don't know what the conditions for him staying is. Perhaps he might be saying, okay, I need other quality players to join me. Right, I need to actually. I want us to actually really fight for major titles in Europe. If they can actually achieve that, Jerry, we've seen teams in Europe, without quality player without players that are known, go as far as getting to the UEFA Champions League semi-final and final. I mean, a case in point, 2004. The Monaco side that got to the UEFA Champions League final, how many top players did they have?
Not the way the Champions League is right now.
Jerry,
The way the Champions League is difficult.
Jerry.
For any club side who does not have the quality.
You also agree with me that
I know
the latest Champions League, the last Champions League, is usually the most difficult Champions League. As at 2004, that 2004 Champions League was the most difficult Champions League. So forget about it. This season, if it happens that
and back then there was this away goals rule and so on and so forth. Now it has been cancelled. Now it's a league format. I think it's even more difficult for a club side who is not well known.
Yeah, let's be very honest to
win
ourselves.
the Champions League.
Yeah, let's be very honest to ourselves. Yeah. Right. After the
I don't want to go into the argument that Galatasaray has a chance of winning the Champions League.
After
let's take it to Maiwa.
Okay.
Maiwa, I know Ikechukwu is just trying to be positive. But me, I will not buy that. I think I will not fall for that explanation because Galatasaray, he has offered the best he can do for them. That is winning the league and the cup double. That's what winning the double. That's the best he can do for them. Talking about winning in Europe, Galatasaray, even Europa League is going to take a lot. You can ask Manchester United. You can ask even Liverpool tried it. Europa League is not for everybody. They don't have no joy in Europa League. You can ask Bayern Leverkusen, as good as they were unbeaten, they got to the final and lost to Atalanta. That's how difficult winning the European title is concerned. And I don't think Galatasaray should be the club side. He should start dreaming of Europe.
The bookmakers,
for me,
Jerry, bookmakers.
I don't know. Staying in Galatasaray is a no-no.
Well, the thing is I think Galatasaray is a no-no. Check the antecedents in Europe. Every club from Turkey, they did woefully in the last concluded European tournament, Champions League, Conference League, Europa League. None. And look at the antecedent, look at the record of the Turkish side in all the competitions in the last 15 years. None of them has done anything reasonable in any of the European competitions. So for me, I think in as much as Osimhen did so well and the rest of that, it's just like the Turkish league is just like the upgraded version of the Scottish league. I mean, where you have Celtic and Rangers dominating the whole the title race. The same thing we have in Turkey. The quality is not there yet. He has been able to prove himself, and I don't want to agree with the fact that there is no top club in Europe that can afford Victor Osimhen. I mean, he's 27. He has proven himself in 2 different countries, 2 different leagues. I think the issue is him getting the right agent that can get the deal across the line. I think that is the problem. Osimhen should not be playing another season in Galatasaray because if he plays another season there, his stock will begin to drop. In as much as Galatasaray was a lifesaver for him. They allowed him to practically play football for the last 6-7 months. I think his quality is above Galatasaray, and he should not be staying in Galatasaray for whatever reason. No matter the kind of projects that the Galatasaray guys want to bring up, how many quality players will go to Galatasaray? And Ikechukwu made mention of the case of Maradona and the rest of that. The reason why Maradona considered Napoli is very simple. Remember, in the 83-84 season, he had an issue in the Spanish La Liga where he fought on the field of play. He practically attacked somebody and he was suspended. And that was it. That was the reason. He was not going to play any football. And Napoli were the only ones that would only allow him to come and play for them because they felt he's a hot-headed person. And that's the reason why he went for Napoli. If not for that issue of him being banned in Barcelona, because the Spanish FA decided to ban him, Maradona would not be in Napoli. However, he went to Napoli and he changed things around and just of that, and kudos to him. But we cannot compare the 2 cases. Osimhen has done so much. The kind of quality he has, I think top clubs in Europe, if he gets the right agent, should be drooling on him. How old is Harry Kane when he moved to Bayern Munich? Harry Kane was about 30 and he was bought for £100 million. Why is Osimhen not in that category? I think he needs to change his agent to find an agent that has the right connections to get him the right move. His wages he's not asking for too much. and I think there are clubs in Europe, bigger clubs in Europe that can pay his wages. He should not stay. He should not make the mistake and stay in Galatasaray and say he wants to play football there. Galatasaray football, Turkish football does not fit the level of Osimhen.
Yeah, I think he has paid his dues.
See.
He has already done the best he can do in the Turkish league. I think there's nothing there to prove anymore.
Jerry.
So he needs a new challenge. I heard you said Leroy Sané. Fine. Leroy Sané is already almost a washed-up player. Let's just say it. He could not cut it at Bayern Munich, and he had to look for another payday. And he's already out of the scene as far as top quality footballers is concerned. Who else is in that Galatasaray team? We're talking about players who are nearing their retirement age. The Argentine player who definitely does not get invited as far as the Argentina national team is concerned. I'm trying to remember his name. He's always out injured. What is the quality you are talking about? Is it that they brought in a top quality coach who's going to win them the Europa League? I think that conversation is already dead on arrival. He should be looking for a club side in Europe. And the reason he rejected the move to Al Hilal is to focus on moving to a bigger club in Europe, not staying in Galatasaray. If Galatasaray was the option and Al Hilal was also an option and he rejected Al Hilal to stay at Galatasaray, I think that must be one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen. So if that was the case, so I would have preferred him going to Saudi League, instead of staying in Galatasaray. Earn a lot of money, yes, because you are not proving anything as far as Galatasaray is concerned. Because for me, he would have even gone to the Club World Cup and still showed his stars and still make a lot of money. So playing at Galatasaray is definitely not an interesting story for me.
No, well, Jerry, Maya was talking about Maradona's case and Osimhen's case, and of course, he also mentioned
different kettle of fish.
Jerry,
totally different.
This is where the both case come very close, right? Is the fact that after he left Barcelona, he never went back to Barcelona. He stayed put at Napoli. He didn't just stay there for one season.
We're talking about a player who has won Ballon d'Or. We're talking about a player who has already won the World Cup.
Jerry.
So we're not talking about a player who has not achieved anything.
But of course, he mentioned Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane's case, Harry Kane has already dominated the English Premier League as far as goal scoring is concerned. He's won more than 3 golden boots in England. So he has proven to be...
tomorrow, his biggest mistake was renewing his deal in 2018 after reaching the final of the Champions
League. That's not even the case.
Harry Kane's own case is a different case because one, he's an England player. Let's not forget.
Jerry, see.
He's an England player. And
the reality on ground for Victor Osimhen now, Osimhen's reality now is that, Galatasaray is the only team in Europe that is willing. No. It's not about the money back. They might have the money, but they're not willing to come.
No, the club sides, the transfer window is still very early. A lot of deals can still happen.
Jerry, we see top clubs talking about striker. Chelsea went for Liam Delap.
Let me tell you.
There's a dangerous in the market.
Even the last week of the transfer window, club sides can still make moves.
Not for a player like Victor Osimhen.
Why not?
Because he's already right there at the top as one of the best strikers in Europe.
Why not? We've seen top players move 48 hours in the transfer window.
The conversation would have been on. The conversation would have been on. A lot of rumors would have been about Osimhen moving to this particular
thing. We see conversations not even happening anywhere. Big
for top players.
Yes. No. Yeah, big players
it doesn't happen.
48 hours.
It doesn't happen.
We've seen it. It has happened before.
Not a player at his peak. No.
It has happened before.
It never happened with Fabregas. It never happened with Van Persie.
It doesn't have to happen with Fabregas.
Jerry, it didn't happen with Harry Kane.
A lot of times.
It cannot happen with player of this quality.
I'm telling you, it has happened before.
Okay. Which case?
I will bring up cases. I've seen players move.
That is at this level.
Yes.
At Osimhen's level. Remember, 8 Ballon d'Or.
Now you are saying Osimhen's level, and you are telling him to stay at Galatasaray.
No, I'm not saying.
Because Galatasaray is the only club.
I'm saying Galatasaray is the only club that is willing. No. It's not about how much they have.
It's not about the willing.
They are the only ones willing. I mean, they are top clubs in Europe. Why are they not making the move?
If he rejected Al Hilal to stay
Al Hilal is not in Europe now, Jerry.
It doesn't have to be in Europe.
Al Hilal is not in Europe.
As far as I'm concerned, Al Hilal and Galatasaray, they're on the same level.
No, Jerry, now.
Forget about when they have a conversation, as far as I'm concerned now, they're on the same level. Al Hilal is even better. You know why? is going to make so much money. Yes, he's going to make so much money.
Money value.
Yes, why stay at Galatasaray? When you have the opportunity of making lots of money.
Competition that
would be a dumb move.
A competition that will put you at the top of your game. It's not
Let's go to the Club World Cup.
Just so a 7-game tournament is going to put him at the top of his game.
And this is better than Galatasaray. It's better than Galatasaray. Because there's what else is going to win? Turkish League. You will compete with
Turkish League is bigger than the Saudi League now.
Come on.
Is it not bigger? For you,
for me, as far as the money is concerned,
you know your opinion,
the money is bigger.
Your opinion
in this case,
it's not bigger. It's not bigger.
I don't even need to even argue this. Staying at Galatasaray is a no. After rejecting Al Hilal.
But Ikechukwu, the thing is this: we have to understand something. See, it will only be madness if Galatasaray are not the first club to be queuing to sign an Osimhen. Osimhen came in and he did fantastic for them. It will only be madness if those advising them are not saying you should be the one queuing to sign a Victor Osimhen. That does not take away the fact that other clubs will come. Remember, the season just barely ended, and players. A lot of players are trying to.
When are they going to come?
The rest of that. So definitely, we cannot say.
When are they going to come? When the player is good? When? They are going to come. We are seeing top clubs in Europe buy striker. Is Man City coming? No. Is Arsenal coming? No. Is Liverpool coming? No. These teams are not coming.
Who say Liverpool is not coming?
When are they coming? You have Darwin Nunes.
Let me tell you.
You have Darwin Nunes.
Why not?
Do you know the interesting thing?
Why not?
The thing is that unfortunately, I cannot.
Liverpool cost over £100 million for Florian Wirtz. They've been talking about Florian Wirtz months before his arrival.
No, which months?
When did you start talking? Did you start talking about it this month?
Which months? It's just how many weeks, and the transfer is still dragging till now. Even it's just even this weekend they're talking about his medical.
Is it not over a month you start talking about Florian before his arrival?
Florian Wirtz is a different kettle of fish. One, calm down, calm down.
Is he a bigger player than Osimhen in Europe?
It doesn't have to be a bigger player.
So what are we saying? So if a player,
no, the thing is that you are getting it wrong.
Why are we now having a conversation of?
You are getting it wrong. The thing is that when club sides want to make transfer, first of all, they go for the players who are going to be more difficult. For instance, if today Liverpool say they are interested in Victor Osimhen and they are ready with that money, I'm telling you, it's not going to be as difficult as Florian Wirtz deal. Because Florian Wirtz is going to be more expensive. One, he's 22. He still has a lot of years in his football career.
Can we both agree that they are not willing?
It's not about willing.
That's
calm down. You are making.
But that's what you are saying.
You are misconstruing me.
Okay.
And you are deflecting. The thing is that if a club side wants to make move, these things they have procedure. They don't just rush. Okay, like now, Liverpool is interested in Kekes, but nobody's talking about Kekes. They are focusing on Florian Wirtz because it's the biggest move because of the money and the competition that is involved. So if they get Florian Wirtz in the bag, Kekes in the bag, then they will now focus on the attack. Because let's not forget, Liverpool also have a similar situation where Napoli is interested in Darwin Nunes. We might see a situation where after they've sorted their deal, they might have a conversation and say, okay, you want Darwin Nunes, take Darwin Nunes, we'll add some money, and give us Victor Osimhen. See, conversations will surely come up.
Jerry,
even the Arsenal's move.
Jerry, you're making it look like it. No, see, Jerry, no.
That's the procedure. Football is not 1+1.
Jerry, see.
You should understand this.
I understand what you're saying, but if what you are saying is exactly the way it is, the conversation of Victor Osimhen must have been gaining a little momentum at the base.
People are already talking.
No, nobody's
already talking.
Liverpool is talking about
Liverpool doesn't have to talk.
That's what I'm saying. Man City talking about him.
Okay, the thing is that when have you seen Liverpool talk about a player and they are not interested in signing at the moment? Do you see Liverpool interested in making rumors and the player they are not? When they want
is it all the players that you go for you eventually sign?
Most of the time.
It's not most of the time. Is it all?
Except the player rejects coming to Liverpool.
Sometimes you lose a player to a bigger offer.
Except calm down. Yes, that is a bigger offer.
All players always go for where they actually want to go anyway, to first, Jerry.
Anyway, the thing is that if you're of the opinion that Mayo want to say something.
Yeah, so the thing is this. I think Ikechukwu is still very early in the transfer market. It's still very early in the transfer window. and there has been rumor that Liverpool might be interested, doing a swap deal with Darwin Núñez and the rest of that. But however, I don't think because it's only Galatasaray that is talking right now, I don't think that takes anything away from other bigger clubs being interested in Victor Osimhen. I've said it consistently, Osimhen is fit enough to play for any big club in Europe. It will only be madness if Galatasaray are not the first person to be saying we want you, because he just finished playing for them and he did fantastically well for them, bring them some couple of trophies, and he had a very fantastic season under 7 months, changed things around for Galatasaray. So definitely you will always hear Galatasaray being at the forefront, but that does not take away the fact that there are other clubs, the bigger clubs, that will be eyeing Victor Osimhen. They might not be talking now, but I can bet it with you, Osimhen does not play in Galatasaray next season.
Okay, thank you very much.
Please, let me ask a question.
That means, wait, calm down. That means you came here 3 days ago on this platform and lied to our viewers that Manchester United were interested in Osimhen. Is that what you just
Manchester United at this point is not a big thing.
Wait, no, that means you like to that Manchester United
is not a big team at this point. It's fine now. No, Jerry. I think I'm going. Is that a lie?
Wait, Manchester United
at this point, Man United is not a big team. No, don't make it look like Man United at this point.
I must say,
I will not even advise Osimhen.
Your hypocrisy level has revealed from year to year.
Jerry, no. I know what you're trying to do.
Your hypocrisy level has gone from year to year.
Maiwa. See what I'm
not afraid of this person inside me.
Maiwa, what I want to say.
I am not afraid of this young man.
Is it now safe to say that?
I think you should go into politics. You will make a good politician. I think sports has shown that no. You have left the sport. You have gone into politics.
Jerry, what?
No. This man came on this platform this week.
It's not like
I said Manchester United were interested in Osimhen.
It's not in
Man United. He's telling
it's Man United a big team.
Today you are telling me that no club has shown interest.
No big club has shown interest.
No big club.
Yes, now. That's true now. Maiwa.
If he's playing at a Manchester United side that's not a big club in the Premier League, it's far better than Galatasaray anytime in the. If he's even playing for Brentford,
a player like
if he's even playing for Brentford, he's still better than Galatasaray.
A player that is playing consistently in Europe.
You should wait.
A player of Victor Osimhen's level.
Which kind of Europe is what Europe consistently are we talking about?
No, see, the thing is, I'm not saying he should stay.
That's what you're saying. I'm not saying. That is the only club that is willing.
That's what I say. At this point,
anybody is willing to sign Osimhen, so
they can't afford him.
No, now. If Eyiba comes today and say they are willing, he should go to Eyiba. Al was willing. Why did he go there?
No, now.
Al was willing.
Living in Europe at 27 does not make any sense.
See,
yes,
it's just like
living in Europe at 27 does not make any sense.
It's just like
Jerry, wait,
calm down.
Maiwa made a point.
I wanted to ask him a question. With all due respect, it's just like somebody who stay in Lagos.
John Duran is 21. John Duran is 21.
See,
and he's in Nabata.
John Duran's case is like a player they use for money laundering.
What are you saying? What did he do?
For 2 months? He had 2 good months in England.
What are you saying?
2 good months.
What are you saying?
And they signed him for over 70 million pounds or so.
Neymar still went to Saudi League.
You cannot compare.
What are you saying?
Neymar at the time
Neymar
at the time Neymar was moving to Saudi, his stock has already dropped.
No.
Neymar is really pro. There are a lot of reasons why Neymar will go there. No. You cannot compare Neymar with
Neymar was still there as far as footballers is concerned. When he moved. That's why they paid a lot of money to bring him. Did you see the ceremony they used to organize to bring him in?
The same level of ceremony they do for Ronaldo and Messi.
Do you know the
demand? A player who's stuck in Europe is
as big as Osimhen. As big as Osimhen.
Do you know that no club in Europe will afford will pay Neymar that money they're paying him?
Wait, as big as Osimhen is, the money that was used to lure Neymar to the Saudi League, they can never use that. Even half of that money to lure Osimhen.
Osimhen has not reached Neymar's level now.
So what are you saying?
Neymar is easily.
What are you saying?
Neymar in his peak is easily the top 3 best player in the world. At his peak, you cannot compare him with Osimhen.
Thank you very much.
Osimhen is around top 10.
Thank you for buttressing that.
But Neymar is easily the top 3.
Thank you for buttressing that. That is
why.
If Neymar or crutches, they will still buy him more than Osimhen. On crutches, in wheelchair.
In Saudi,
yes,
in Saudi, but not in Europe.
Okay.
You cannot,
even in Europe, on wheelchair, they will still buy him more than Osimhen.
Osimhen, Neymar, Liverpool. Who are you signing?
Neymar.
You sign Neymar.
What are you saying? I will sign Neymar.
You sign Neymar over Osimhen. Jerry,
yes. At 27,
you should stay
at his prime.
Politics is your thing, Jerry. Politics is your thing.
At his prime.
Politics is your thing.
Don't worry. At the same prime level.
No prime. We're talking about today. You're saying prime.
No, not today. I said at the prime level. What are you saying? How will you say today? How will you say today? Is he not a politician? I feel no fear you.
Jerry.
I feel no fear this young man. Anyway, let's talk about.
But the thing is, but the thing is, for him to reject that lucrative move to go to Al Hilal, see, we might not be hearing the news that there might not be a whole lot of news about big clubs going after Osimhen. I know something is in the works, and that's the reason why he will reject a very lucrative move. That £5 million net, no deduction, nothing, for a move in Europe. I think before the end of the transfer,
yes,
Osimhen will land a bigger club in Europe that will play for.
I agree with you, Mayowa. There would have been a conversation that's not yet in the open that will make him reject such an offer, because he will not just sit down and reject Al Hilal without something coming up. I think I want to toe that line. Okay, we have a caller. Hello, you're welcome. Hello, you're live. You're welcome to Locker Room. All right, we understand the caller is still, maybe he's talking to Osimhen on the background, but anyway. It is what it is. Anyway, let's talk about the Super Eagles. We're talking about Chikelu Ilionasi, a former international defender and current chairman of the Anambra State Football Association, believes the Super Eagles have a bright future under the leadership of their new head coach, talking about Eric Sekochel. Yeah, I think the promises are there. We don't need the soothsayer to tell us that if all things are going well, Eric Chel should be able to achieve something, but qualifying for the World Cup should not be a part of it as far as I'm concerned. But maybe at the Nations Cup in December.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jerry. It depends on what his contract says, and I think one of the things they were talking about in his unveiling is that there's no pressure. They just want him to actually put the team together, and he's actually trying to do that. We are now seeing a new crop of players. Even though I'm not really satisfied with the kind of players that we are really having. Players from players that are actually developed. From other parts of the world to join the Super Eagles. I mean, most of them obviously don't really play like Nigerians would really expect them to play, because we are used to our players playing a certain way. And of course, the fact that we've not really seen players from the MPFL. Me personally, I've not really seen players from the MPFL really getting their stay in the national team. That's also a big problem for me. But aside that, I think he's really doing a lot. And the way he's actually setting up his team, it shows that he's a manager who understands and knows what he wants to do and wants to achieve with the team.
Yeah, it will continue to be a problem for the MPFL players, because definitely they cannot cut it. Maiwa, we all know what is at stake, but so far so good. We can say that Eric Chel is on the right path.
Well, it's on the right path, but it's only going to be on the right path if the NFF will not pull the rug under him.
Yeah.
Remember, we have an NFF body that is fond of pulling the rug under people. Remember, they set up, Finidi George to be the fall guy for their failures behind the scene in terms of our World Cup qualification. I hope they will not do the same thing to Eric Chel. If he doesn't secure the World Cup ticket, which I think he will not secure at the end of the day, I hope they will not use that as an excuse to pull the rug under him. I think he has the potential to build something for us as a brand. I think if we give him the kind of opportunity we gave to Westerhoff when Westerhoff joined Nigeria in the late 80s, I think we will give him that opportunity and we'll give him that kind of amount of time. I think he'll be able to build things for us. However, the big question is this: what will be the status, or what will be the support level of the NFF to him in the next 1 or 2 years? That is where the critical question is. And with the antecedent of the current NFF body, with the current NFF, I don't think Chel will stay very long to be able to build something fantastic for Nigeria, except until something changes in the NFF.
All right, except something changes in the NFF, and of course, we encourage you to call in and drop your comments on the comment section. For those who are watching on YouTube and those who are watching us on LSL TV, you can also call in via the WhatsApp number showing under your screen. And of course, let's take one comment we have right now. This one is from Taiwo Okunade, and it says that Liverpool already planning a bid for Victor Osimhen. Okay, I think he has seen that news. So it's still rumors, but not concrete yet. But we'll wait to see how that pans out. All right, let's talk about the Super Falcons. Were non-movers as they maintained 36th position in the latest FIFA Women's World Ranking. The latest ranking was released on the website of the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA. That was today. And the Super Falcons, however, remain number one in Africa, while the USA continue to lead the way. 3 months on, there has been plenty of movement further down the standings. I think I'm not surprised, but it's still poor. Talking about the rankings for the Super Falcons.
Yeah, it's really strange. I mean, our women. I kind of look at this thing and start wondering how many countries in Europe really play football. That, you know, look at this country in Europe and say, okay, our girls does not have a chance against them. You know, I know of the top countries. I know I can say, okay, the top 10 nations in Europe that are, you know, very good football nations. Their women also are very good with football. I can skip that. But seeing our women in 36 shows that something is really wrong. Right, you can't win the Nations Cup, the African female Nations Cup for you know, more than 8 times, and then still be around. It shows that something is wrong with African football, and this is where it becomes it is becoming a very serious issue. I think we should really do something about it, because I mean, we have top players, the likes of Asisha Azishola has played in top teams in Europe, and of course even outside Europe, and I look at the rankings and I'm like 36 for Falcons. It's still very much of a struggle for me to really, understand how we actually find ourselves in that particular position. Because if you look at the Americas, I mean, take away United States of America, take away Canada,
Australia,
Brazil,
Spain, Japan,
and then you count all of these countries and you understand that, okay, there are good countries, maybe about 5 of them in that particular zone that I know, okay, if these Super Falcons come up against them, it's going to be a very difficult game.
Well, how come countries like Ukraine and
these are the questions? Yes, these are the nations that I find very difficult to understand how they, because I know when the Super Falcons were actually going for their first World Cup, many of these nations don't even have a strong football team. It goes back to football development. It goes back to how we manage to conduct ourselves. And if we don't do something about this, maybe a couple of years down the line, our female and our male will be struggling to be around 40, 45, even 50 in FIFA World Ranking. And come on, that's not really what we want to see. Because if you look at countries like clubs like Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and other some of these clubs in Europe that some of our girls have actually played in. Some of these countries that have that are highly placed than Super Falcons in this FIFA ranking don't even have players in any of these top teams. Then it begs the question, yes, there's a talent, but why are we still having this issue? I don't really understand, because I don't know, some people some person will say, if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand that, they're not explaining well, because this is exactly what the situation is. This is the time we need to start understanding and asking ourselves. I would expect, right? I would have expected that from 2003, right, when our Super Falcons started showing, promises to actually go for, FIFA World Cup and play this tournament, right, to this point. This is over 20 years, right? Now, from that time till this point, I would have expected that, we should be having our female national team around the top 10, top 20. Because unlike our male, we want to say, okay, yes, male football is way more difficult, and we've not really dominated, African football as long as our female. So why can't we just, the achievement that we've gotten so far with the female, why can't we just, put more energy on that and then push these girls to go higher up the ranking? I mean, it's quite embarrassing to see our female in 36th position. See, now the 36th best team in the world, right, is actually the best team in Africa. What does that tell us about African football? I don't see. Sometimes I look at these things and I just start asking myself exactly who are the people running our football. What exactly what is their game to see that, you know, every single point in time, if we talk about football in Nigeria, either the male or female category, it turns out to be an embarrassing story at the end of the day.
Maiwa, for me, I don't believe that Serbia and Ukraine, they have better female football teams than the Super Falcons. But FIFA will have a lot of questions to ask if I'm to set up a panel to investigate the rankings.
Okay, well, the thing is, the reason for that is very simple. Remember, you have the Nations League going on for the male. There's also the Nations League going on for the females too. So the females have been playing, you know, matches in the Nations League, couple of matches, and that played into the ranking. And that's the reason why, you know, that has happened that way. And that's the reason why you see a whole lot of these countries, you know, ahead of Nigeria. If you take a look at the Nations League, especially because I've been following them, if you take a look at the Nations League, especially the female Nations League in Europe, it has been very, very interesting. You have smaller teams, you know, knocking out the likes of England and the rest of that. The rate of football development in Europe, especially for the female teams, you know, is really very, very impressive with the inclusion of them playing the Nations League. And that's the reason why, you know, they have much more better ranking than, you know, Africa. The reason is that the last time the Super Falcons played any game was the game we played against Cameroon. I think that's about 2 weeks ago. Since then, we've not played anything. However, I suspect the ranking will change. Remember, the Nations Cup, the female women Nations Cup in Africa is coming out sometimes, I think in the next 30, 31 days, there, but if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, our girls will be part of it. They are currently in camp, you know, preparing for that particular tournament. And when the tournament kicks off, I think it will aid in our ranking. However, Ikechukwu made mention of something that is very, very important. Why is it that when it comes to our football, there's always a K-leg? Are you aware that our ladies, they are being rescued by Remo Star? They are currently training and camping at the Beyond Limit Academy of Remo Stars. That's where they are. And they are supposed to be our national team. What happened to Abuja? Why is the NFF not being able to put them there? We have to ask a private business owner to rescue us for a team that is going to represent us as a nation. It goes a long way to show how badly we don't rate our female team, how poorly football is being run here. In as much as, you know, you might want to question some rankings and the rest of that. I think what we also do in terms of organizing ourselves as a country also go a long way. How is it that the Giants of Africa, the number one team in Africa, has only played one friendly match since the last qualifier with South Africa? Before that time, any friendly match played. The lack of organization we have. Anytime there is a window of friendly match, we should take the opportunity. Friendly matches against Cameroon, it was because the Nations Cup is coming very soon. That is why it happened. Why we not take advantage of, you know, the FIFA will to set up friendly matches for our girls, to even bigger teams. Why is our focus not the lack of our consultants of Brazil? Is because of the kind of organization and it will continue to affect. I hope for the sake of our football, those who are really interested in football, they get into the glass out and rebuild the way it's supposed to be.
All right, and of course, talking about Nigerian football projects, it's more like I would like to say a reflection of where you are coming from. And governance is not really working, and unfortunately, it's also rubbing off on our football. Because take a look at countries where their football is doing well, their government is doing properly, and administration is working, their structures to make sure that even when this setup leaves, the next person comes and meets that structure. So it's really, really a worrisome situation. Well, let's go back to Europe where things are done properly. Kevin De Bruyne has signed for Napoli as a free agent after being released by Manchester City. And of course, it's good for him. Kevin De Bruyne, at a point we heard that Liverpool were showing interest, but I think going to Napoli is an interesting move for him. And we'll wait to see what will happen with Kevin De Bruyne there.
True. I mean, Manchester City legend. I mean, arguably one of their greatest player ever. and of course a player who I think he deserves a statue in that particular Manchester City stadium. It's a good end for him actually, even though he feels that he still got a lot of years to give Manchester City, but then Manchester City as a top team, they really have their plans, and of course top teams in Europe who really want to compete at that level, at a certain age they don't want to renew your contract, and this is just one of it for him. And for Kevin De Bruyne, I think it's a new chapter. He's going to a country where they really know how to manage players that are very much in their twilight. Of course, Italy is one of those countries, Germany is another country. I think he's still got at least about 2 years to actually give, and for a manager like Antonio Conte, he's really going to get the best out of him. Yes, the intensity might not be there again, but he's still got a very good range of pass, which is going to be very useful for them in that team. Of course, don't forget they are the champions of Italy. It means that they still have a very good team, which will be coming into next season. I will not be shocked if they end up winning the league again next season, talking about the Scudetto. But then Kevin De Bruyne, for me, I think this is a very good one for him, because playing in another team outside Manchester City in England, for me, is going to really dent in his career as far as England is concerned, because the fans, people who love him, will not want to see him actually cause them pain. This guy is a top quality player, and I just wish him the very best of luck.
All right, of course, I hope he stays injury-free. Maiwa, as he plays for, talking about Napoli for the next 3 seasons, that is if he stays there till he turns 36.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good move. It will be nice. We'll be seeing Kevin De Bruyne again in the Champions League next season. I think it will be interesting to see. And I think Echukwu said something. With the inclusion of Kevin De Bruyne, I will not be surprised if Napoli is competing for the Scudetto again next season. Kudos to him. Let's see what he can offer Napoli. And I want to see how, Antonio Conte will be able to manage Kevin De Bruyne.
All right, of course, as far as they retain Conte, that's already a big chance of winning the Scudetto next season. Of course, thanks Maiwa and Ikechukwu for being a part of the show. It's been awesome having your insights on the program.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, okay, and that's all right.
It's always amazing to be here, and I hope Osimhen's situation is sorted.
All right, for peace to reign. Okay, that's a wrap from all of us on Locker Room, and of course, big thanks to the guys behind the scene talking about likes of Victor, Alex, and of course, Paul, not leaving out Ikechukwu. And don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and hit the notification bell. Drop your thoughts on the comment section. You can still be a part of it, and of course, share your views with us when we'll come back again on Locker Room. We're advised that you stay sharp, stay passionate. We'll see you next time. And up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. My name remains Jerry Apelahai, saying stay safe, and if not anything at all, please support you.